Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Watch this video here from Kyle Kalinske. It's pretty interesting.
Now, Nick Fuentes, for those of you who don't know, he's a Nazi. That's not me reading between the lines or using hyperbole. He's quite literally a Nazi. I always bring up to people how it was a few years back now. He had a debate with Alex Jones about Hitler. And it was Alex Jones who took the position that Hitler's bad, and he would argue Hitler was based. And so, he's sort of out and proud with it, right? At the same time, him and Ye are friends now. He was helping Ye with his presidential campaign. By the way, how'd that work? How'd that go? Did he do okay? In between his fucking binging on nitrous and getting cucked, how'd he do in that election? What were his numbers again? So anyway, and Kanye is the most proud Nazi in the country. So anyway, the guy's a Nazi. And, but he's in a weird place because he's a Nazi, which is repugnant and disgusting, but also he has this show, and he's got quite a few followers, the Groypers, they call them. And as I've pointed out to you guys, I've really seen a shift in right-wing media lately where the Daily Wire era is over. Ben Shapiro is washed. Jordan Peterson is washed. And you see the rise of these other characters. One of them is Nick Fuentes with his overt Nazism. Then there's Candace Owens, who's the new, conspiracy-leaning conservative commentator. And then you also have Asmongold, who holds down the low IQ Trump supporter lane, right? So there's a rise of those folks. Well, Nick Fuentes took advantage of the fact that Jordan Peterson did that Jubilee debate. It was one Christian versus 20 atheists. And Jordan Peterson got draxed, bro. I mean, he got his ass cheeks waxed in front of the world by a bunch of teenage liberal atheist debate bros. And it was glorious to see. And as I told you guys when we talked about that segment, we're really in a new era. The vibes have shifted, and there will now be a return to a politics and a commentary of bluntness and honesty and straightforwardness, right? Because what Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson delivered, it's a politics of obfuscation and deflection and say a lot of words without really saying anything, right? And here's Nick Fuentes, and he's going to give you his thoughts on Jordan Peterson humiliating himself. Let's watch, and then I'll have a lot to say about it.
It seems like the left-wing debate bros have won. I can't be the only one that saw Charlie Kirk get blown out on that point. Jordan Peterson get blown out on that point and realize the end is nigh for the conservative grifter. It's over. Because everybody that has put these people up on a pedestal, Peterson and Charlie Kirk have all the answers. If I hear a left-wing argument, I go to Charlie Kirk and Peterson to hear why that's not true. They've got all the answers. They're the masters of knowledge. Their weakness in both cases is their hypocrisy. And that's where a liberal can pull at that string and unravel the entire grift. You say you're America first, but you support this genocide in Gaza and our aircraft carriers and foreign aid and all that over there. You're a traitor. You're corrupt. You've sold out our country to the highest bidder, and history will remember it that way. You've got nothing. You've got nothing. If the young, energetic, thoughtful young people that are going viral and blowing up on TikTok, if they're on the other side, if they're on the left, that spells a lot of trouble for the right wing.
Look, part of this, I would say, there is a hint of jealousy in what Fuentes is saying here because he feels like I should have been the one. It should have been my era. My style of commentary should have dominated right-wing politics, not Charlie Kirk, who's a fraud, Jordan Peterson, who's a fraud.
You know, they want to show up to the Charlie Kirk thing and get their signed MAGA hat or something. It spells the end for them. If Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson and Charlie Kirk can't annihilate the SJWs anymore, then what can they do? Because you have to consider that these conservatives, they do these intramural debates for a living. They do this professionally. Jordan Peterson is, I think, in his 60s or 70s. He has a PhD. He's a university professor with decades of experience with the clinical practice He's a psychologist, and he's debating 20 liberal kids. And when you're in a room with 20 liberal debate bros, 20 liberal semantic pedants who are going to get you on every little thing, I mean, that they're masters of the gotcha. There's nowhere to run.
They're not masters of the gotcha, Nick. Perhaps they're just correct. Perhaps those 20-something or teenage liberal atheists were just correct. One of them went after Peterson because he brings up the story of Amalek in the Bible and the genocide, and God says, like, even kill their infants. And he's like, is this a good book to base your morality off of? And Peterson's like, well, it depends what you mean by morality. And it depends what you mean by based off of. I can't quite say. There's a lot of bloody stuff in the past among human beings. And he just couldn't, he couldn't be direct. He couldn't be honest. He couldn't be open. Why? Because the Bible is horseshit. Because maybe if you're going to create a moral code based on something, you could take one afternoon and on one page write a better moral code than you'd get from reading through the whole Bible. Yes, half of it is Jesus being good and hippy-dippy and loving and altruistic. That's great, and I love the Christians who embrace that part. But the other half is genocidal and bloodthirsty, and it's full of a lunatic ideology and philosophy. And so maybe just don't go to that book when trying to get your morality. Maybe base it off of something more modern, more intellectual, more reasoned, right? Everybody has a better, just intuitive sense of morality than you could ever get from reading a book from thousands of years ago, right? Any rando on the street, you could say, here's a sheet of paper, write down, forget 10, write down 20 things that are rules for how people should act. It's going to be better. It's going to be better. So they're just right, Nick.
Who are going to get you on every little thing. I mean, that they're masters of the gotcha. There's nowhere to run. You're in a fluorescently lit warehouse with 20 liberal debate bros, and your entire life is about to be hydraulic pressed by facts and logic, and you can't fucking cry either. You can't cry your way out of this one. This isn't Piers Morgan.
He goes on to say, I watched a longer clip, and he goes on to talk about, like, the future is me and Candace and Andrew Tate. Candace Owens just did a sycophantic interview with the grapist Harvey Weinstein. Okay? Her brain is oatmeal. Let's be serious. She abides by one rule: get the most eyeballs on me possible. Be a contrarian asshole and get the most eyeballs on me possible. Literally the same day I saw this clip where he says him and Andrew Tate are the future, Andrew Tate was just hit with 21 counts, a 21-count charge in the UK for grape and human trafficking and other things. Sex trafficking. The same day, oh, we're the future. Oh, look at that. With a bunch of charlatans and criminals. Look at that. Really? Andrew Tate? And you, let's be serious here, he is right about one thing. Him and Asmongold are the future of Republican commentary. But what does that say? It says you guys are cooked. Because he doesn't understand the power of the Ben Shapiros and the Jordan Petersons. The power was that they actually didn't just come out and say it. Right? Because if they actually come out and say the things they support, Ben Shapiro would be literally cheerleading genocide, which he kind of does sometimes, but it would be every word out of his mouth would be, the billionaires are oppressed and give them all the money, and also Gazan babies are Hamas, and let's bomb them all. And Jordan Peterson doesn't even know what the fuck he believes. He's just like word salad in his head 24/7 where he talks a lot and he's never actually saying anything. But that was their power. Their power, yes, they're not blunt. Yes, they're not direct. Yes, they do this highfalutin thing where they pretend to be more intelligent than they are. They hit you with a word salad. But that was appealing to people because they're kind of saying it without saying it. But if you just come out and say it, sometimes it's like, oh, that's actually really fucking ugly and not what people want. And so to your point, you're the future. Well, yeah, you are the future for a certain Groyper Nazi percentage. But I got news for you. You're not going to get over 50% of the fucking country to become card-carrying Nazis, Nick. You're not going to be able to do that. And so, if anything, really, it's probably Asmongold who's more the future of right-wing commentary, because like I said, he boils down Trump support to its lowest common denominator. He's just like the idiot who's got like a dead rat in the background and hasn't showered in a week and a half, and he's just giggling watching a video of Trump owning the libs and going, based. That's really where this train is going to end, bro. That's where it ends, is, oh shit, it's the biggest cult members in the country, the lowest IQ people in the country, the Kool-Aid drinkers. Those are going to be the only ones who remain when Trump follows through with his destruction of the economy and destruction of the country and war with Iran and all these different things. So, in a sense, he's right. Now, this is their era. It's more about Fuentes and Asmongold and Candace Owens than it is about Jordan Peterson and the Daily Wire. But that also is going to go fucking belly up super quick, because the real future is liberalism and leftism. The real future are those atheist liberal debate bros that you just saw destroy Jordan Peterson in front of the world. They'll be out in the media soon. They'll have their TikToks. They'll have their YouTube channels. They'll have their shows. That's where the eyeballs are going to go. The eyeballs are going to come here. The eyeballs are going to come to people who are direct, straightforward, honest, but also have some humanity and some empathy and some altruism and want a system that helps everybody and makes our lives better. I know, what a crazy idea. Make our lives better. You're a Nazi. By definition, you want to exterminate some ridiculous percentage of the population or expel them from the country, right? I'm sorry, bro. That ain't ever going to be 50% plus one. It's not happening. It's not happening. But I do enjoy that the girls are fighting. I do enjoy that they're at each other's throats. I do enjoy that you're watching the MAGA base crumble into a million pieces. That, as I said, they're a victim of their success. Now, Trump has the White House. Republicans have the House. Republicans have the Senate. They have the courts. And when you look at what they actually want to do, you look at what they're doing, you go, oh, this is the worst thing I've ever seen ever. How could anybody ever have supported this? When you see them cutting pediatric cancer research, as Elon Musk did, cutting Meals on Wheels, as Elon Musk did, destroying the anti-scam police, the CFPB, as Elon Musk did, firing our top nuclear safety official for no fucking reason and then having to beg for that person to come back, as Elon Musk did. You look at a robber baron coup, raising taxes on the bottom 90% while cutting it for the top 10%. You look at warmongering with all these different countries, Canada, Mexico, Iran, Gaza, Venezuela, Yemen, Somalia, etc., etc. You look at all of that, everybody's going to hate everything all of you have ever stood for. So yeah, they're washed. I agree. It is your moment on the right. I agree. But you'll also be washed in short order. There is no doubt about it. Because it's actually true. Those liberal atheist debate bros, they had Jordan Peterson in a logic chokehold. And this is what's coming now. This is what's coming. A logic chokehold for the entire fucking right wing. Regardless of where they are on the spectrum. Regardless of the differences in their commentary, right? Is it going to be a neocon warmonger hyper-capitalist like Ben Shapiro? Or is it going to be a fucking Nazi like Nick Fuentes? You're both cooked, bro. You're both cooked. But fight away. Fight away. It is glorious. I love it. But it's at the point now where even other figures on the right can't pretend like, oh, Jordan Peterson actually did good there, right? They can't pretend it. Just like how Sam Cedar went on Jubilee and destroyed a bunch of Republicans, and then he defeated them so thoroughly that you had right-wing Twitter accounts posting Sam owning the Republicans, not realizing, wait, Sam's actually the left-winger, and he's owning Republicans. They thought, oh, Sam has to be a right-winger because he's like owning them, so he's got to be a right-winger. No. You're all goofy. You're all silly. You're all idiots. We're right. You're wrong. And now you can't hide. You can't hide. Everybody can see it. Hey, y'all.
Well, I don't know what to tell you people, but the Nick Fuenteses and these people here of the world are going to just fade away, just like so many others have in just the last few months. The right wing is just, becoming more and more annoying. I'm not going to say unpopular. I'm just going to say they're getting annoying, and a lot of people are getting sick of it. A lot of people are just saying, look, enough with the fucking attack on the poor and the weak, okay? Let's actually get to the business of actually running an economy that's healthy. And we're sick and tired of the attacks. We're sick and tired of people being randomly kidnapped and, transported to other countries. We're getting tired of that. We're tired of hearing about these stories because we know they're not right, they're not just, it's not legal. But instead, we get more of the same. It's like nobody in this administration even listens to how people are reacting to this. It's not the best way in the world to lead when you're talking about, leading a country. you know, if you don't keep your ears open to the mood of the nation, you're not going to do a very good job at leading. And Trump has got no fucking ear at all to what he's doing. He really doesn't. It's all about what he wants, okay? And this is the same kind of attitude that you get from the Republican Party today. They're the minority party. I mean, when I say minority, I mean their ideas are never considered a majority opinion. They're a minority party because a lot of the things they want to see happen are not very popular. So, Trump was doing what most Republicans do. They shove their fucking minority ideas down our throat and expect us to smile and take it and not bitch. Okay? And, you know, it often backfires on them later on down the road when, you know, people have to run for the seats again. People will remember, well, look, the last time, you know, you were in there, you did this and you voted for that and we didn't like that. You know? So, even though they try and get their way, it doesn't linger because people will turn around and strike it down later on under a different administration. So we have to put up with this bullshit now, but keep in mind, it's not going to last forever. Eventually, okay, and there are good people out there still who will be running for seats in the midterms and stuff like that, and they will bring back what we remember as being, you know, a democracy, and that day will come. This is only a temporary thing. What Trump is doing is temporary, but when the new administrations get in there, they're going to start to undo a lot of this stuff. So I know in the meantime it means a lot of people are going to suffer until Trump is gone, but you know, at least the future shows that, you know, things will get better. The future generations can expect, you know, something of a repair, if you will, of what's been going wrong here. But these talking heads from the right wing have got it so wrong on things. I mean, and they get pissed because for them, MAGA isn't right wing enough for them. Trump is not right-wing enough for them. And when the country's already despising what's going on now with the right wing, then wanting to pull the country further to the right is suicide. At least for the party anyway. I mean, the Republican Party is already dangerously leaning off a cliff here. And if they push themselves any further to the right, this could be the end of that party in more ways than one. And, you know, when you got Republicans already turning their backs on MAGA and the Republican Party, that's not a good sign. They've lost, you know, about 30% of their base already? Okay? That means a lot of these people in the Senate and the Congress are not going to get their seats back in the midterms. They're going to lose. They're going to lose a lot of seats, and right now where the margin between the Democrats and the Republicans in these houses are very tight. It wouldn't take too many losses for the houses to flip. Okay? And if Trump is already getting pissed off and annoyed and having hissy fits because there's too much opposition against what he's doing, just imagine what a Democrat-controlled House and Senate's going to look like, and how that's going to piss him off. Okay, he's going to have very little to look forward to. But you think this guy would fucking see that, recognize that? Just think ahead. If he could just see that, he wouldn't be doing half of what he's doing right now. But it's like he doesn't care. You know, and maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't care at all. Maybe the whole thing about him being president all this time was just so he could wipe his criminal slate clean, as it were. So he wouldn't have to fucking go to prison. Maybe that's what this was all about. And everything else was just, I don't know, icing on the cake. You know, trying to make deals, you know, to get minerals out of Ukraine and all that other stuff. Maybe that was just you know, icing on his cake, basically, which he's not going to get now, because he's pissed off at Putin, he's pissed off at Zelensky, because they're trying to kill each other again, and whatever plans he had to get anything out of Ukraine, that's gone now, okay? That's never going to happen. Goes to show you, even Trump didn't have the cards. You know, he got foiled by his idea. He thought he had everything, but he didn't, okay? And that only shows just how lack he is with international affairs. He doesn't have any skill dealing with that. And it came through loud and clear earlier this year. All right, so, but like I said, these talking heads, I don't even know why anybody even listens to people like Nick Fuentes anyway, okay? Everybody knew that this guy was a friggin' nut, okay? Everybody knew this stuff about Nick. And the fact that, you know, anyone still listens to him is laughable. I mean, it would be like, I don't know, taking pointers, you know, from Pee Wee Herman or something like that. Okay, the guy's credibility is stretched beyond belief. The fact that he talks like a Nazi and all that, I mean, that really right there should turn off everybody watching that shit. But there's still nuts out there that, you know, in MAGA that'll listen. But I guarantee you his audience ain't very big anymore, and it shows. And you know, the stuff that he talks about, he thinks, oh, I'm right, no, it's just arrogance talking, you know. It's like the press conferences that this administration puts out. What's her name, Caitlin there or whatever. Why should anyone watch those press conferences? Why should the press even show up to ask questions? If the only thing they're going to do at these conferences is lie to the public, lie about lying, and not give you any facts, then the media is wasting its time trying to pull or prod any information out of them. The only way they're going to get the truth out of anybody is those people who are not in the administration, okay, working behind the scenes, and they may know something more than they're going to get out of the press secretary and everybody else, okay? Really, that's really who they ought to be going to. Anything you get, you know, like from Trump or somebody close to him, it's going to be fucking tailored to be a lie. They don't want you to see what they're doing, okay? They don't want you to see what they're really doing. And they know the public's not going to like it. If they knew the public would like it, they wouldn't have to lie. The press would never find anything wrong with what they say, but they know what they're doing is crooked, so they're going to lie. That in itself is enough to know that it's not worth listening to them. I don't really listen to the press conferences. I just pick up, you know, on the news, you know, clips or something that was said that they're saying, oh, she lied about this or he lied about that, you know, and it doesn't surprise me. Okay, more lying is done in these press conferences than anything else. Okay, so like I said, if you're not going to get the truth from them, and you're only going to get hyperbole from the other side of the Republican aisle, then what do they really stand for? Can they really consider themselves to be an American? Do they even care about the country? Because we have to question everything they claim they stand for. We have to, because all they've done is lie all the fucking time. You know, I just don't think there's anything there that we need to consider as valuable. You know, any nugget of information, any nugget of truth or something. We can't afford to be that naive. Okay, we can't do that, especially these days. When we hear something that's being said to us from these conferences, you got to think the opposite. More often than not, you're going to be right. All right, talk to you later.